What's going on, guys? It's St. Gerald back with the newest video in like a month and a half. Hopefully this time I'll be consistent. I'm not really sure. Life is potentially slowing down a little bit, so I might be able to do some more videos, at least be more consistent. Here I'm doing 285 and then 290. This is a week apart, just trying to go up in weight. I was actually supposed to compete the week that the last two videos were recorded, but the meet director never got back with me. It wasn't a sanctioned meet or anything like that. It was just for fun, but it would have been nice to, have my numbers in mind for a sanctioned meet later on, but that didn't work out. This is an AMRAP. Once again, I was going to go for a PR, but my hamstring glute area on my right side is not cooperating with me right now, so I've had to go from sumo to conventional, and that's been fun. Nothing against sumo at all, or conventional at all. I love both styles of deadlift, and I don't see either of them being a problem. And then here's some floor press that I did this last Saturday. I think it was Friday or Saturday. Either way, this is something that I will be incorporating into the new block that I'm starting. It'll be a 9-week block, a power building block, and I'm excited for it. Excited to potentially put on some more mass while getting stronger. So here I'm finishing up my floor press, and as you guys can see from any of my failed attempts, or even the attempts where I've grinded a rep, I am awful 2 inches off of my chest. So a floor press, a block press, a paused press, pin press, any of those type of pressing movements is really going to help me, especially when it comes to lockout, which also means that I have horrible tricep strength. So I need to be working on that as well. Here we start with my warm-ups. I'm really hoping to be consistent with my warm-ups, not switch them around, so I can build up that volume in those lacking muscle groups, especially my rear delts. As PH Deadlift says that most lifters are going to fail on a bench when it comes to their delts from their rear delts, not their front delts or lateral delts, because typically they are trained often and not neglected, whereas the rear delts are neglected. It's a muscle group you can't see, so a lot of people question why you have to train it. But you should train your rear delts and train them often. They can take the volume, they can take that because they're just a small muscle group and they heal rather quickly. I did some tricep cable kickbacks to target the lateral head of the tricep because we are wanting to get bigger, and push-ups for some volume in the chest because, as you guys can see, I am gassed after my push-ups. I barely made it through my second set, have 25 on push-ups, and honestly, I was trying to count. I probably lost count, probably didn't even do 25 push-ups. Starting my incline press with the Rhino bar. I don't know if I'll be able to constantly use the Rhino bar when it comes to incline press because I do a lot of my training at the school that I work out, which means that I also have to bring my barbell with me. And if I have to do that, then I have to remember that and I have to load it the night before. And sometimes I just forget, like I forget to make videos. But while I had it today, I did want to use it, and I did have a little bit of pain in my left elbow last week when pressing, so I was just taking some precautionary steps to avoid tendonitis. I don't have it, but like I said, it was flaring. It did hurt a little bit, so anything that I can do. My top sets today were 158 and 178. Remember, the bar itself weighs 8 pounds, so we got to keep that in mind. Prayerfully, we can get these numbers to 225 by the end of these 9 weeks. That would be really great. Be a great improvement. I do have a new thing of elbow sleeves coming in from the same person who creates FD chokers. I think it's literally the same thing with elbow attached onto it. So I'm excited for those. And since I'm not competing, might as well use them, keep me safe, and keep my lifts moving forward as well. Here we are again, working on some triceps. This time is a skull crusher from the floor, stop at the floor. And if you've never done these are very humbling because you don't really have that momentum, and it really throws you off because you're stopping at a spot where you typically would not stop at on a skull crusher. Big shout out to Jeff Nippard on this one. He was the one who showed me these, and I've tried my best to include them. Here recently, I've done some dumbbell rollbacks on an incline that I got from Elite FTS, and I guess you could technically consider those close to the same thing. I'm sure both of them would argue that it's not necessarily the same thing, but you are targeting the tricep, and you are getting very humbled by the movement as well. Since I have it in mind right now, do your best not to move your elbows on a skull crusher. What I mean is, don't bring them any more forward than what they already are. When you bring your elbows forward, that means that you are now engaging more shoulder than you are tricep. Of course, the shoulder is always going to be involved, but if you're doing it for triceps, then avoid it as much as possible. I made a huge mistake on this set. I thought that I had programmed 12 to 15. I did not. I programmed 10 to 12. So I did 15 the first set, and it really showed because this sucked. And on top of that, the next two sets were awful too. I was pretty sore, but I still chugged along and got the reps in. They might have been a little sloppy, but now that I have that in mind, I can work on that for the next 8 weeks and prayerfully make some better advancements, both in weight and form and in size as well. This was probably the biggest mistake that I've made all day, and one of the biggest mistakes that I've made in training this year. I'm doing 1.5 lateral raises, and I'm trying 2 different methods out on this. So one is the bottom portion and the other is the top portion. Both were awful, but I think that the top portion was even worse, so that's the one that I'm going to stick to. Of course, you can nitpick at what I've done. When it comes to these lateral raises, it was really hard for me to count, if I'm being honest. So maybe I can get my counting down next time too. Another mistake that I made was that I did program 12 to 15 on this. I did remember that, but in my head, I told myself I have to get 15 every time. And when you get to my last set, you will actually, I didn't show the last set. I did the first 2 sets. So the second set, you will see me struggle a lot because it hurt. The third set was even worse. Finally, we got some forearms. I did 2 sets here. Everybody needs some boa constrictor forearms because if you don't have them, you'll have a weak bench, you'll have a weak deadlift, and everybody will make fun of you because you have small forearms. I guess the same can be said with calves too, which is something I need to work on. I guess I should probably throw that into this program too. Anyways, have a great day. Hopefully, like I said, I'll be back with some more content and keep it flowing. I think I'm going to create a video on my new tattoo soon. So be looking out for that. As always, thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week.